Good evening, folks, and welcome to the final episode of Season 1 of Business Drive. Last week, we looked at some fantastic options for those heavy lifting days on the job. And if you've missed out on any action, totally fine. You can catch it all on 9 now. And as always, head over to drive.com.au for all news and reviews. And if you're looking at buying and selling a car, they can help you there too. We're wrapping up this week with some fantastic delivery efficiency options and that perfect powerhouse for any trader. Let's get into it. Now, I want to talk about the elephant in the room, literally the elephant in the room. It's absolutely enormous. Now, I'm familiar with the Ford Transit. It was the backbone of Britain. You told me that information earlier. However, I was sat there earlier on today, and that thing crept in behind me, and I didn't hear it.
Well, the idea of a fully electric delivery van, and it may be one of those things, people think, oh, electric cars, they need to be small cars, they need to be city-friendly. It is the size of a house. You can probably fit a small electric car in the back. But the idea here is that if you've got a base of operations and you're doing deliveries from your depot to the suburbs and the city in a zero-emission vehicle, it's smooth, it's quiet, it's a nice place to work. You've got no idling diesel engine out in front of houses. You've got a nice silent electric driveline to manage that. But it is a modern way of working. If you can charge that back at your depot, you have a full range. It's got a bit over 300 kilometres range that it can manage.
And do you think it's a much better option than the diesel version?
Look, it's horses for courses. Australia is a big place. And so if you're doing interstate runs or even cross-state runs, a diesel's probably still better for you. But if you're based in the city and you're doing a lot of running around tight city streets and even strong urban areas, the electric platform works really well.
And the size of the cabin at the back, it's absolutely enormous. You could put 3 beds either side and put it as an Airbnb. Well, there's beneficials to completely everyone.
This is it. So you've got standard size where you can fit pallets, you can fit fork loaders both in the front and the side. So the actual format of the van is the same as a diesel Transit. So you've got a proven platform there. We know that works with warehousing and other goods delivery services. Simply having the batteries under the floor and the electric motors in it makes it a modern take on what is a traditional platform.
With this amount of space inside, the lists are pretty endless.
Well, this is the thing. So the e-Transit is a fully electric Ford Transit. I know that sounds like a really sensible thing to say, but for buyers, it really is the same van. That payload area is exactly the same as you get in a regular diesel Transit. The same amount of cargo space, roughly the same payload, between 1,500–1,600 kilos, depending on you want. You've got 2 pallets that you can fit in here. You've got side door access. You've got rear door access with the 270-degree barn doors. So it is a fundamentally strong working vehicle, even without the electric driveline. For what you get, though, is the ability for fast charging. So you can go out, you can go and do your deliveries. The car can be on fast charge. It's got a DC rapid charger at the nose so that you can be charged up again with a full battery, ready to go out on your next job.
What I have found, the benefit in owning a van, which I saw as we were walking around this thing. Look at that.
Yeah, signage.
Yeah, that's your own business, making you money while you drive around.
Well, this is it. Whether you need a small van or a medium-sized van or a big van, even if you don't need the cargo volume, this is a mobile billboard. This is an ad for your business wherever you go. You just have to be a conscientious driver if you're putting your signage and phone number on the side. But it's another consideration. You don't need a ute, you don't need an SUV. A van is a business tool, and this as a shouty billboard for everything that you do and everywhere you go, you kind of can't go wrong.
I'm still trying to get my head around the fact that this is so big and so silent.
Well, this is the thing. The benefits of a fully electric delivery van are actually, well, they're more than just the environmental position. I'm going to go for a drive and I'll explain it while I'm out on the road, because that's where the e-Transit really starts to make sense.
Stick around. After the break, we'll be taking a closer look at the latest innovation from Ford right here on Business Drives.
Well, just like Kris said, probably the key thing to note from the e-Transit is just how quiet it is. You can hear the wind rushing past. You can hear the tick-tick of the indicators when you come to an intersection. You've got a really nice working environment here, and I think for drivers who find that they're out on the road a lot and are spending a lot of time behind the wheel on delivery runs, whether it's sort of around town or on that urban delivery cycle, the vibrations of a diesel engine can kind of affect you day in, day out. So having the electric platform makes a lot of sense. Now, just for some numbers, there's a 68 kilowatt hour battery in the E-Transit. It's got a bit over 300 kilometres range that it can manage. And I will say that if you do load it up to its maximum payload, which is about between 1,500 and 1,600 kilos, depending on the roofline, you will eat into that range. And it is sort of designed not for that massive hauling and not for that long distance, but for the hub and spoke mentality, moving from a warehouse environment out to customers and back. And because it's got that DC fast charge capability in the nose, it's nice and easy to recharge it quickly while you are reloading and resetting up for your next run. But the key takeaway about the Ford E-Transit is that it is just as easy to drive as a regular Transit. Now, there are some pretty cool things in here because of the electric platform, some fun stuff too. It's using the old fuel gauge where you'd see in a diesel car, and instead of showing an arrow as whether the pump fill is on the left or the right, it's got a little arrow pointing straight ahead because, as we know, the recharge port on the E-Transit is in the nose. But there's some cool stuff that you can do with the electric platform that you can't do with an internal combustion. And there is a setting here. You can go into the features on the Ford touchscreen here, and you've got departure and comfort settings. So it means that if you know tomorrow morning it's going to be cold and you're all going to be setting off at 7 a.m, you can tell the car to preheat the cabin to be warm. And that means that the climate control and the seat heaters will come on so that you can get into your car, and it uses the battery in that environment to be nice and warm and cozy and ready to go. And I think that is the benefit of electric that we just don't see in that kind of day-to-day space. Everybody looks at it and goes, well, it's because it's quiet, well, it's because it's fuel efficient and because it's environmentally friendly. You've actually got some really cool technology layers here that the electrification of light commercial vehicles brings to the market. From a convenience perspective, the E-Transit is actually really well configured. You've got this great big bright touchscreen here. You've got all the features and functionality that you need to work on there. It is compatible with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto as well, but it does have native navigation and a whole bunch of other stuff. Now, a good benefit of the Transit platform, not just the E-Transit, is this bulkhead behind me. It separates the load area from the driver's cab, and just from a noise perspective, but also from a temperature perspective, as you move into winter months, it keeps this part of the car nicely insulated. So you can have all your goods back there. They can be cold, but you can be nice and snug and warm here, and well, quite frankly, that's a pretty key thing. So if you're looking for one key takeaway about potentially moving to an electric platform for your delivery business, maybe consider this. Rather than thinking about the environment, think about your environment. Here with the electric drive, it's smooth, it's quiet, there's no vibration. It's a much nicer place to spend time. And well, if it's your business and your office that you're considering, quite frankly, that's a pretty important consideration.
While many small businesses are constantly looking for ways to optimize their operations, one key area there is to finance their assets. I'm here with Ryan from Stratton Finance to discuss whether it's viable for small businesses to actually finance. Ryan, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, at Stratton Finance, we see a lot of small businesses come to us, a lot of different situations, different industries, different positions financially. So finance is a tool that a lot of businesses use to move their businesses forward.
And how often should I look into refinancing my work car, and are there tax benefits in doing so?
So with a work vehicle, if you have taken out a business loan, there is a portion of interest that is charged on your repayments. Most business loans also attract early termination fees, so it's really important to understand what loan you have signed up for originally and how far down the line you are on that loan. The closer you are to the end of the loan, obviously the lower the early termination fees are. So really important for small businesses to look into what is the early termination for that particular loan, how far along in the loan are they, and what will be the impact of refinancing. So for example, will they be in a better position? Will the interest rate be lower? Will the monthly repayments be lower? What does the term look like? As well as what are the implications tax-wise if the vehicle is over 3, 5 years old, etc.
Would there be any other triggers for small businesses to look at in that situation?
What are they trying to accomplish? What's the end result that we're trying to get to? Because often refinancing sounds like, okay, I'm going to end up with a better deal, I'm going to be paying less per month or less interest, whatever the case may be. Up front, that sounds excellent. Long term, that may not be the right way to go. So for example, you may lower the repayment, but if it's a lower repayment over a significantly longer period of time, the net effect there is you pay a higher amount. So really important for businesses to look at not only the short-term benefits, but the long-term benefits of a refinance.
What are the positive signs to look for when you're thinking about refinancing?
So positive signs to look for when you're looking at refinancing, particularly a vehicle, is if you have a residual value or a balloon on the end of your repayment and you're coming up to that term, that could be an indication that maybe refinancing is the way to go. If you've got a $50,000 residual value or balloon that's sitting there and you don't want to outlay that $50,000, okay, we may look at refinancing that. That's a really, really common opportunity for refinancing that we see with Stratton Financing.
So you're saying that refinancing could potentially lead to better payments or better terms?
Absolutely. There are opportunities for a loan to benefit you as a small business over a longer period of time, or with a slightly different structure or with a slightly different lender. Again, very important to understand what are the early termination fees and what are the impact of doing this refinance on my existing loan.
Ryan, thank you so much. Very knowledgeable. Your insight is much appreciated. Is there anything else you would like to finish with? Any advice for our viewers?
Very important to note that with the discussion today, this has all been general advice. It's very important for people to speak to their accountant, their financial planners, to make sure that they're doing the right things for their business, not only in the short term, but in the long term.
Thanks for watching Business Drives. Join us after the break where we will be delving more into the need for fit-for-purpose vehicles. Find out more information on drive.com.au. Well, we're still here with James, and James, as we know in Australia, if this isn't working, you're not working.
Right.
We've seen about electrification, but this is the good old diesel engine. There's still a need for this in Australia, isn't there?
Oh, look, absolutely. If you're dealing with heavy loads, you're towing something, you're dealing with big distances, as nice as it would be to have zero-emission, modern electric power, we're not there yet. And Isuzu, obviously, with the Dmax here, this is a brand that's kind of earned its place in Australia with reliability. This is a truck engine, the 4JJ1. It's a 4-cylinder, 3-litre turbo diesel. There is a 1.9-litre version for lower emissions, lower fuel consumption. These are pretty good, as they are. But basically, you can choose what you want, but you still may need diesel in a world of, well, hybrids and electrification, especially as it's coming soon.
And do you reckon there's a hybrid electrification version of this coming?
Yeah, so earlier this year, Isuzu actually pulled the silk off an electric Dmax. It will come to Australia. It's not quite ready yet for us. And again, it's not quite ready to do everything. As you know, people use these for work and for play. But for a car like that at the moment, it's great for a work site. If you're working in a big warehouse, you're working underground, an electric ute actually has plenty of benefits. But for a lot of people, especially if you're dealing with big distances, diesel's still your friend.
And do you reckon this works as well as a family vehicle, not just a trade vehicle?
Oh, look, absolutely, and we see that more and more with double cab utes. You've got a multi-role car that can do things on the work site. It can go places, but then on a weekend, if you want to swap the cement mixer on a trailer for a boat or the trail bikes and take the family somewhere, they're very, very capable vehicles. And you can have this both as a ute and as a wagon in the MUX, because a ute back doesn't always suit everybody. You've got a better payload here, but occasionally you may want the security of the cabin on the back or better seating for your family.
So, James, for the families that don't necessarily want a tub, there's the MUX. Is that more reliable? Is that a bit more comfortable for families?
Yeah, great question, because from, well, basically the front bumper to the back of the front seats, the MUX and the Dmax, both Isuzus, are exactly the same. You get that 3-litre engine in the MUX, you can get a 1.9-litre one now. Same reliability, same capability off-road and on-road, but the back of the wagon is coil sprung. So you've got a much sort of nicer, more compliant ride versus the leaf springs on the back of the ute. But trade-off is you've got a better payload here, about 900 kilos on the ute versus 600 in the wagon. So depending on what it is that you want to do, Dmax or MUX, one of them's going to work out.
And are there any other benefits over the MUX preferring to the Dmax?
Yeah, look, absolutely. For the tub at the back of the ute, obviously, it's open to the elements. So security and weatherproofing may not suit every business or every family use. Using the wagon on the MUX, not only have you got seating for 5, you've actually got seating for 7. You've got a deployable third row, but you've got that secure cargo area at the back. So if your business needs that over the payload of a ute, maybe you're running flowers, maybe you're running cakes, something like an MUX could actually make more sense than a Dmax.
James, that's why we pay you the big bucks, mate. You know just about everything. And there you have it. If you're looking for the long trip across Australia, which a lot of people are, this is quite possibly the car for you. Well, we are wrapping up Business Drive with Scott Cam, and we spoke about modifications, we spoke about customizations, but now let's get down to the real nitty-gritty. Performance. What do you look for in a business vehicle?
Look, payload, tow capacity, comfort. They're the 3 things that I look for. And, you know, I've got quite a few trailers and I've got a lot of things that I tow in trailers, boats, work trailers, camping trailers, things like that. And then comfort these days, because Kris, I'm 62 years old. I'd say you want some comfort as you get older. And certainly my wife, when we travel in the ute, she wants comfort as well. So that's something probably I look for a lot. Payload, tow, comfort. They're all pretty comfortable these days, and they've all got the tech in them as well.
And would you say that the right vehicle definitely makes a difference to each individual trader?
Absolutely, and I think young people coming into the game, number one, they're going to have to buy second-hand, you know, because if you're a 21-year-old kid, you're not buying brand new straight away. So that's down the track, and that'll give you a taste of what you want. I think that four-wheel drive these days is a must, because then you've got 2 vehicles in one. You can camp and go out and you can tow. So four-wheel drive is a big one. And then payload for your trade. You're going to have to put 2 boxes on. You're going to have ladder racks. You're going to put all your ladders on there as well. And then carpenters, for example, they need to carry sheets. 2,400 by 1,200 sheets, 8x4s. So you need to have a set of racks on there that'll take, and the payload on the vehicle, that'll take maybe 4 sheets of gyprock or 5 sheets of gyprock or 5 sheets of ply. That's a fair payload with all your tools. So that's a big one as well. You can always get lift kits in them as well and lift them up a little bit.
Now, with your vast knowledge of experience, you've been in the game quite a while. What would your key pieces be to young traders starting their own businesses?
Yeah, I mean, tread carefully. It's hard to navigate a trade life. It's easy to work for someone else, but if you're starting out on your own, you've got to think about all those things that you need. Of course, you need a full set of tools, so you're never going to start unless you've got a full set of gear, and then you need great transportation, don't you? And that comes at a cost. So I'd say to young people, don't rush into things. You know, it's very easy to get ahead of yourself. I want to get into my own business, which is terrific, and I expect every young tradesman and woman, there's beautiful girls coming in through all the trades these days, which is unreal. They're all going to get their own business one day, most of them anyway. And so tread carefully, tread lightly, and take your time.
And that's why he is the best in the business. And for your next business drive or any information you need on Business Drive, go to drive.com.au. In business, every second counts, and BP Plus helps you save time. With access to over 1,200 sites right across Australia, with high-flow pumps and pay-at-pump technology. BP Plus is more than just fuel saving. It offers a consolidated way to manage fuel expenses. It also offers up to 51 days interest-free credit terms, as well as 24/7 online help for full control and monitoring. It's not just about fuel, it's also about rewards. BP Plus is the only card that offers you Qantas points from Qantas Business Rewards with every single transaction. And don't forget to refuel, refresh with quality coffee, great snacks and drinks, all at your local BP. From fuel to exclusive deals, BP Plus supports Australian businesses with convenience and efficiency. So do business the clever way with BP Plus. As we gear up to close the curtains on this season of Business Drive, we take a moment to reflect on the journey we've had, from the insights we've gathered to the stories we've told along the way. from the robust discussions with industry experts and the practical advice from those on the ground. We've covered it all. We kicked it off with Scott Calm, who gave us his unparalleled expertise from the block, explaining to us exactly what tradies want from their vehicles. Stratton Finance opened our eyes to financial aspects, helping small businesses fully understand the importance of smart finances for their fleets. James gave us an in-depth look at the standout models for this season, from the Power Pack Ram to the versatile Ford Ranger and the innovative e-Transit. Not forgetting the rugged Isuzu that was a perfect fit for surf lifesaving. We also welcomed a new player to the scene. The Jack T9 showed us how its customizability has made it a real contender in the market. Our episode on towing capacity and customization has showcased how tailored features can transform a standard vehicle into a specialized asset for businesses or adventure. And this is 3.5 tons on the back of this.
Well, that's the tow limit of most of the utes that we talk about. So to see that we're able to do that with significant ease in the Ram is just testament to how good and how well suited these cars are for big load towing.
And of course, the real star of the show, our trader, who shared with us firsthand the essentials that he looks for in his work vehicle. It's been an insightful journey packed with takeaways, and if you've missed any episode or simply want to revisit any of the knowledge that we've explored, head to 9 Now and catch up at any time, plus lots more from Drive. Until next time, keep the wheels turning and the engine humming. I'm Kris Smith. Drive safe, and I'll see you on the road.
Are you ready to buy your next new vehicle? Well, the team at Drive can help you out. We have reviewed and driven all the new cars on sale in Australia at the moment to help you make a smart choice and buy the right new car for you. We've got cars for sale right now from reputable dealers over at drive.com.au. And of course, if you're ready to sell your car, we can help you with that too. Everything you need to know about buying or selling your car, it's over at drive.com.au.